Shadow the Hedgehog, a Sonic game released by Sega in 2005 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. It was met with some pretty bad reception from customers because of the huge off-road turn they made with the themes of this game. The realistic guns, vehicles, mild swearing, metal music, it's all super duper edgy, but that's honestly what I love about it. I'd expect a lot of the bad reviews came from parents who thought they were familiar with Sonic being a bubbly and lively game series only for their kid to be blowing away innocent soldiers with a glaucous shadow. Now I know you've probably seen many reviews for this game, some a lot better made than this, but my takes for this game are what some would consider hot takes, so I wanted to share and see your opinion as well. Despite popular opinion, I for the most part enjoyed this game. A lot of people who play this game would probably say the same, considering they were kids when they played it. And as a kid, quality isn't your biggest concern when it comes to having fun. Many would also say that this game is what started the dark age of Sonic games. That's something I can honestly not disagree with. Now that we've cleared up the introduction, shall we move on to the review itself? I split my reviews into 6 categories. 1. Graphics. 2. Music. 3. Level design. 4. Writing. 5. Mechanics. And 6. Character development. Now I just want to clear this up now. The graphics in this game are somewhat impressive for 2005, especially the CGI cutscenes. They've aged very well, despite being pretty edgy to today's standards. The in-game graphics aren't anything to gawk at either. Not quite Sonic 06 quality because of the hardware limitations, but it isn't too bad for 6th-gen consoles. Nothing absolutely bewildering, but nothing bad either. However, I cannot say the same for the level visuals. This is especially notable in Digital Circuit Zone. This zone never failed to strain my eyes because of how overly colorful it is. Most of the other zones look like your typical early 3rd Sonic game levels. Now on to level 2, music. One of the few outstanding aspects of this game. The level tracks are atmospheric and generic at the same time, taking a darker tone with its themes. Crush 40, as per usual, crushed their performance in this game. I Am All of Me and Never Turn Back are amazing tracks. Sonic games always deliver when it comes to music. A2 also did a great job with The Chosen One for the credits theme. Edgy, but emotional. Not much else to say about it from here, other than that it's pretty freaking good. With level 3 comes level design. This is by far my least favorite aspect of the game. The missions between good and evil is such a fun idea, but it could have been executed way better. Some missions are ridiculously long, taking over 30 minutes to finish if you're not familiar with the levels, which makes it impossible to get higher than a D rank, by the way. It also doesn't help that a lot of levels are like big mazes, and some have spots with necessary objectives that are very hard to see. This obviously is a very big problem for core gameplay. The movement, along with the platforming, does not match up well at all. This is especially apparent in Cosmic Fall, which is an absolutely atrocious level to play through because of the insane amount of platforming. The Arc level is very terribly layouted as well. They try to lighten the blow by giving you a map at certain checkpoints, but the map is really primitive and difficult to read. It's very possible to just run in circles for 10 minutes without realizing, since all the rooms look the same. It's also very easy to get soft-locked in the Black Comet level. Level design was most definitely not the forte for this game. The first level, Westopolis, is rather unmemorable unlike a lot of the first levels in other Sonic games, such as Green Hill Zone, City Escape, etc. It does its job as a tutorial level, but it's really very generic and doesn't stand out very much at all. Most of all levels in this game aren't very memorable. You'd think all my gripes about the levels in this game would make me hate it a lot more, and while it did make me somewhat frustrated at times, all the monotony turned into satisfaction when I finally find that last black alien hiding behind a secluded wall. And I'm the type of person to hate repetition with every fiber in my being. All the redundancy just made me feel more determined to finally clear the level. And now for level 4, the most complicated level, especially when it comes to this game. Pretty much all the internet agrees that the writing is pretty bad. I'll just say, yes. From a professional standpoint, the writing is pretty atrocious. The endings are abrupt, the story goes all over the place. For a lot of newcomers or moderate Sonic fans, the story will be very hard to follow if you didn't play Sonic Adventure 2 to understand Shadow's backstory. But honestly, I don't think it's really fair to complain about that since, considering it's not really clear whether or not Shadow the Hedgehog was meant to be a standalone game or not. Well, I mean, obviously it was supposed to be standalone, but in terms of story, it's borderline standalone. Other than that, the writing leaves much to be desired. Level 5. Mechanics. Oh boy. The mechanics of this game are a very mixed bag. Like, at times your attacks and movement will work well with you, but then at other times it's absolutely horrible to deal with. The movement is very slippery. This is especially apparent in the PS2 version for some reason. Movement will get you killed a lot, considering this game semi-heavily focused on platforming. And for the camera, it's one of the worst I've ever seen, period. It gets stuck a lot, always turns when you don't want it to, can mess up shooting or homing attacks, and this makes melee quite difficult. Gun mechanics are fine for what they are, but it's really easy for it to shoot the complete wrong way at random, wasting a lot of your ammunition. I have no idea why they had such a big focus on platforming with movement as slippery and a camera as clunky as they are. Finally, level 6, characters. I wouldn't say many of the characters are very crucial to the story, so I won't be too critical with this section. The only characters that really matter are Shadow, Black Doom, and Maria. Maria being a key character to Shadow's past, Black Doom being crucial to Shadow's newfound lore, and Shadow, of course, being the protagonist. The side characters such as Sonic, Knuckles, Team Chaotix, Rouge, etc. act the same as they do in Adventure 2/Heroes, which of course is a good thing. Well, other than the occasional dammer crab, which is kind of funny hearing that out of Sonic's mouth. Shadow's new lore tells us that Shadow was created by Eggman's grandfather, something that was revealed to us in Adventure 2, as well as the fact he was raised in the Ark with Maria, who was shot by soldiers on the Ark after an incident, giving Shadow his main motive to uncover the truth of his past, something that was also revealed to us in Adventure 2. The new lore tells us that Jel Robotnik used Black Doom's blood to create Shadow. The blood of Black Doom was supposed to make Shadow the ultimate life form, which you will hear Shadow repeat many times. Well, this is at least what I picked up from the game's storytelling, along with my prior knowledge of the Adventure 2 story. And with that makes for the end of the video. Surprisingly, with all my gripes about this game, the controls and camera, the unbelievably difficult to navigate levels, and the confusing story, I honestly really enjoyed this game. As frustrating as it may be, it's just a good time. People are honestly much too critical of this game, and many people don't put themselves in the right mindset to enjoy the game. At least, that's my opinion.
Sorry, is this what I have become?